Well, that's it. If I had any doubt at all, Fender thinks that we are all completely stupid. They think that we all have no brains. They think that we're all gullible idiots. I did not know what to do when I saw this news. I had a video ready to go for this week. I had it edited, I had it chaptered, I had it thumbnailed, I had it uploaded. All that had to happen was today had to come so that you could see it. But nope, it's getting delayed because of this shit right here that Fender is trying to pull on us. I'm sure you've seen the news by now. The Fender Standard series. There's a Stratocaster, a Telecaster, a bass, and I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I just don't know what to say. I hardly have the words to describe my level of disbelief on this. And I've known about it for like a day, and I thought about it, talked to my friends about it, and I didn't know how to quantify my feelings about this into a video. But essentially, if you didn't know, Fender announced an affordable line of Fenders. Entry level. But they're made in Indonesia. They tried this before with the Modern Player series made in China, and it failed miserably. Nobody wanted them then, and nobody wants them now. And I simply cannot believe this. This is the biggest slap to the face of us, to Leo Fender, to the heritage of the brand, to what the brand used to mean. And if this continues and they keep this forever, the whole market is completely screwed. The legacy is screwed, and the name Fender will not mean the same thing that it meant until 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago, or whenever the hell this news came out in relation to when you're watching this video. Okay? So why does it matter? A lot of times, people will say, well, it's just a name on a headstock. If you make it sound good, that's all that matters. The audience doesn't know. But other people don't know. People listening don't know. People don't. That is a completely stupid argument, in my opinion. Okay? It does matter. Because guess what, genius? If it didn't matter, then the business model of charging more for the thing with the name on the headstock would have failed. And they would never have continued as long as they have. Period. End of story. No more debating about it. It matters. But why does it matter? Is it vanity? Well, did you choose the color of your car? Did you choose the model of your car? Did you choose the color of your current guitar? When you buy a phone case, do you pick a design that you like? When you buy a t-shirt, do you choose a color, a design, a cut that you like? Let's not kid ourselves. Aesthetics matter. And what things are matter. Why does the headstock logo matter other than vanity if it is that shallow, which it isn't except for some hypocritical people that we'll get to in a minute. Why? Why is Gibson able to charge over $2,000 today for a Les Paul? If they're as shit as everybody says they are, if their QC is as bad as everybody says it is, and if they're as overpriced and unaffordable as everybody says it is, then why is Gibson still making them and selling them every year? And why are they still selling them at the price that they're selling them for? Because people are buying them because they are worth it. The Gibson name, as an example, means usually, 99% of the time, made in America, usually Tennessee, made with better woods than an import, better hardware than an import, better pickups than an import, better oversight in the factory, better quality control, better polish, and better aesthetics, better tops of the wood, better construction mechanisms. And I'm not going to let you use a caveat to tell me that I'm wrong. The reason people cry about the QC at Gibson is because there is a standard set by the Gibson name, whether you like them or not. Because if Gibson did not mean or wasn't meant to mean quality and desirability, then you wouldn't give two shits if the QC was bad on a few select units. But if a unit makes its way out of Tennessee into a store and into somebody's hands and it has bad QC, they yell and scream about it because they should, because we should hold Gibson to a higher standard, because they've created that standard for themselves. They've created a heritage. They've created a tradition. When you see Gibson on a headstock in a YouTube video, on the stage at, I don't know, the New Year's Eve concert, or you go see your favorite band and they've got a Gibson on, you see that headstock, you see that name, it means something. That's why it matters so much. That's why counterfeit people who like to buy these slave labor, Chinesium, lead-infused, counterfeit, bullshit, firewood, fakery, forgery guitars ought to be ashamed of themselves. And why it's inexcusable that they're okay with doing this. Because you're getting everything, you're getting the name and nothing else. In fact, you're getting the name and the opposite of what the name stands for. The irony is so unbelievable and indescribable to me. When you got to replace all the hardware and the pickups and everything else just to make it playable. And by then you've spent $600-700. What the hell are you doing? You could have bought a bullet Strat and it would be better than a Fender. Guaranteed. All of that being said, Fender. This is personal for me. Why do I have a beef with Fender? I don't. Fender is disappointing me. And as you know, the feeling of disappointment can hit a lot harder than anger. I'm not necessarily a Gibson fanboy to the point that I would slam Fender. No more would I slam Ford because I drive a Dodge. Dodge-hating comments incoming, I know. I respected the Fender brand. My first guitar over 20 years ago was an Affinity Strat, red. Still got it back there. My first guitar that I ever lusted after I'd learned to play and was getting better, I wanted a guitar just like Jimi Hendrix's. I taught myself to play by watching the Jimi Hendrix Woodstock tape over and over and over and over and copying him. I wanted an Olympic white Strat, Fender Strat. And a real Fender was a Mexican Fender. And on my 16th birthday, my dad surprised me with a white Mexican Fender Strat. And I was over the moon. It was a real Fender. It felt so nice in my hand. The neck was finished so well. The pickups played great. It held tune well. I was so proud of that guitar, and I still have it, and I will never get rid of it. And in fact, I may be buried with it someday. We'll see. Would I have felt the same way about a white Asian Fender Strat? I can tell you I wouldn't have. And the thought never crossed my mind. Now, Fender Japan existed, of course. And a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about those. And, you know, I owned one, I hated it, and I sold it. But that's just me. That's just me. The Fender name back then, and until very recently, meant it had good quality control. It was made with good wood. It was made with good hardware. It had good pickups. It generally had a much better quality control going out than a Squier would. Fender meant something on the headstock. Fast forward several years, and Fender did end up making the Modern Player series, made in China. Nobody wanted him then. Nobody wants him now. There's actually one hanging in my local guitar store. It's a Fender Nashville Telly. It's got like a series parallel switchable humbucker in the bridge and made in China. It says Fender on it. I just wish it were a Squier, to be honest with you, because when I hold it, it doesn't really feel like a Fender. It feels kind of cheap. And I think that's why they didn't sell very well. And I guess Fender didn't learn their lesson. Because now, they've decided, in their infinite wisdom, to take that name on a headstock that meant something to so many people for so long and throw it in the shitter. That's what they've done. Because now they have introduced potentially tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, depending on how they sell, of Fenders into the market, into the world, that are not actually made as well as any other Fender before it. Let's look at it. Here it is. Fender Standard Stratocaster electric guitar. Now I want you to take a good look at this. Take a good look at this. Look at this right now. Okay? See? See? Does that look familiar to you? $599.99. Designed in California, made in Indonesia. Pathetic. But does this look familiar to you? This Fender is made in the Court factory, and it is basically the exact same guitar as the Affinity Squire Strat. And they have more than 100% increased the price, put Fender on the headstock, did a couple of like $30 upgrades, called it a day. What the hell is wrong with Fender? What are they doing? And the sad part is, people will buy it because they don't know anything about guitars, but they know that Fender is better than Squire. They know that Fender is Fender, except this Fender is not better than Squire. It's not better. It's not better. Look at this. Indian Laurel, 21 frets. Ceramic single coils. 2-point trim. Sealed tuners. Skunk stripe. Small trem block. Okay. How much is that? $249.99. It's a full thickness body, by the way. So immediately you can tell the burst is a little better. I'll give him that. Indian Laurel fingerboard. 3 ceramic single coils. Sealed tuners. Slightly better tuners, actually. These, I think, are the ones that used to come on the regular Mexican, but you can buy them for like $30. So, okay, let's add $30 of value to over the Affinity. And the saddles here look a little bit better. So again, let's give them a huge benefit of the doubt and say $30. So it's $60 in value. No skunk stripe and a plain neck plate. Oh, and a big block. Oh, let's add $20. So that's $80 of upgrades. And a Fender, a shittily applied and designed Fender logo, I should say. This is it's a black silkscreen Fender logo. So you're taking $80 and a headstock logo and charging over 100% more. This is basically, if you sand it off, which don't do this, by the way. I hate people that do this. This would be like if you sanded this off and just stuck a Fender decal on it. That's effectively what you get here. Look at that. Look at that shit. What the hell are they doing? Then they did some things that I just cannot believe. This is a nightmare situation for the market, okay? We already have a problem with counterfeits. You're not going to believe this shit, and you probably already noticed. There is a walnut plug on the truss rod. That only comes on American Fenders. And the nut width is American width. This is a counterfeiter's dream. You just gave them a $599 guitar that they can sand this off and put an American-looking logo on it. Sand this off and hope and pray that the buyer doesn't look at the back of the guitar before they buy it and see that there's no skunk stripe. Because it looks the same. I just can't believe this. I am completely and totally blown away by this. Let's go to the spec sheet. Satin urethane neck finish. In other words, the cheapest, most lazy finish they could do. It's a poplar body, okay? Gloss poly finish, what you'd expect. Modern C-neck, what you'd expect. 9.5-inch radius. Indian Laurel. Inexcusable for a Fender Stratocaster to come with Indian Laurel. Come on. Now, I know that they've used Laurel before. I don't think they ever should have. But there you go. Indian Laurel. There's your nut width, 1.6875 inches. That is American width. Is that an upgrade? Probably. Sure. I'll give him another point for that. There you go. No case, no gig bag. $599. Now, we've established that this is basically an Affinity Strat. $599. Here's what you do instead. GuitarCenter.com, Fender Stratocaster, or go to your local mom and pop shop, please. They need you right now. But if you do this, sort low to high, what's this? Mexican Fender Standard Stratocaster. $364, $399, $419, $449, $449, $449, $449. For $450 or less, you can get a real, legitimate Fender Stratocaster. This is not an Asian import bullshit squire liar Stratocaster. This is a real Stratocaster. This is a Mexican Stratocaster. This is what a Fender Stratocaster was meant to mean at its very bare minimum for as long as a lot of us can remember. At least for the last several decades. Here it is. Right here. And it is cheaper than this bullshit one. Nobody buy this. Do not buy this. Do not buy this guitar. If you're going to spend this kind of money on a guitar, you better buy a Mexican Fender Strat because it's a better guitar and it doesn't give Fender any more money. It doesn't endorse the bullshit, insulting, disrespectful, legacy-shredding, Leo Fender turning in his grave-inducing decision-making at Fender's offices. And before you say, oh, Gibson's doing it too. No, they're not. Use your brain. Do you really think Gibson is going to do that? The source that reported that story is The Amazing Times and confirmed by Craft Your Happy Place. If you're getting your news and saying that The Amazing Times and Craft Your Happy Place are legitimate places to get major guitar-related news and leaks, and that's where a leaker would go to leak the story, you are an idiot. They are not moving production there. Period. Will they maybe manufacture other things there, like maybe pots or guitar straps or cases? Maybe. Sure. But they are not moving Gibson guitar production to Indonesia. That is complete bullshit. You know who is, who has, and who's currently selling them right now? Fender. Fender has let me down more in the last 6 months than any guitar company has ever let me down. What they did with the Player 2 Jaguar, what they did with this, the fact that now if you want a good solid-state Fender amp, you have to buy a Tone Master, and they're charging $1,000? Why? You can go buy like a Line 6 pod for like $100. All a Tone Master is like a Kemper profile or like a model of another amp that you can't switch to anything else, permanently embedded in a computer chip on an amp. Why are they charging so much? Why are people buying them? Because there's no other option. Yes, there is. You know what the option is? Don't buy it. I don't want to get demonetized. I was going to say the word I really wanted to say, but I didn't. Fender has got to shape it up immediately because this brand is going to hell in a handbasket. If you thought the robot tuner thing was bad, these series of decisions that Fender has made, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe this. I can't believe this. There's no good reason to buy this. Zero. Zero good reason. There is one good reason to buy this, though. Last time I did a video like this, we talked about the Player 2 Jag. And everybody jumped down my throat and said, well, you don't actually have the guitar in your hands. How could you possibly make a judgment call? We don't know. It's probably just fine. You could probably just look under the pickguard and just put the right circuitry in there and get your rhythm circuit that you want and blah, blah, which, by the way, isn't true. It's not physically possible. You'd have to route the whole thing out. But I took one for the team. My Sweetwater rep reached out to me and said he had a demo unit available. So I bought it. And it was painful to do. But why did I buy it? If I'm so against it, if I'm so against Fender, if I'm so against the principle of what they're doing, it's because we have a serious problem in our community right now, in the guitar community. Every other guitar channel that you watch, generally, has some sort of endorsement deal. Or they get their guitars for free. And there's some amount of catering going on with their opinions. Or they may not have been bribed for their opinion, but they don't want to make the company that sent them the stuff mad, or they don't want to make Gibson mad, or they don't want to make Fender mad, or whatever. So they're going to be a softball. They're going to softball it, right? You're not going to find anybody who buys one of these guitars that has bad things to say about it. You're not going to find anybody making a video like this one, ripping them a new asshole over this decision. No. You're going to see videos about how, oh, this is great. Now we can all afford a Fender. I mean you, because I'm super rich off of my YouTube channel and I own 18 American Fenders. But it's good enough for you. I'm going to look down my nose at you and tell you it's not good enough for me, but it's good enough for you. No. It's either good or it's not good. This is not good. Plain and simple, it's not good. But somebody has to be honest. And somebody who loves Fender, I do love Fender. Somebody who loves Fender needs to look at this and be honest. Someone needs to pull the pickguard off and look at this. I'm not going to say guarantee, but I'm pretty sure these are going to be dime-sized pots and an import switch, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure these are going to be generic ceramic magnet pickups, which I happen to like, but that's not excusable for a Fender at this point in the game. So yes, I bought one. It's on its way. It will be here in a couple of days, and when it gets here, we will unbox it. We will unbox it, and we will talk about its specs, how it feels, how it plays. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be honest. If I think it's an amazing guitar, I'll tell you. But here's what won't change. It could be the greatest guitar in the history of the world, but it is still inexcusable and unforgivable what Fender has done with the branding of this guitar. If they wanted to make a Squier that was so good that it rivaled a Mexican Fender, they should have just done that. They should have just called it like the Squier Pro Series or Squier Professional and made a new Squier logo to indicate that it was still a Squier, but it was a better Squier. Why didn't they do that? I might have wanted to buy one in earnest for that reason, but no. I bought one because I need you guys to see it. I need to see it, and we need to tell the truth here among ourselves and be honest with ourselves. We can't enable Fender to continue doing this shit. So, the next time we talk, I'm going to be unboxing that Fender, unless it is delayed in shipment, but it should literally be here. By the time you see this video, it should be on a truck on its way here. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Please like and subscribe. Please join the Discord if you haven't already. We actually talked about this at length earlier today before I filmed this video. All of us ranting at each other about it. And we seem to be in agreement in the Big Jake community about this guitar. But I'd love for you to be part of it even if you don't agree. So please join it. Link's in the description. Please like and subscribe again. And I appreciate all of you so, so very much. You guys are the reason that I'm able to make very poor financial decisions and buy a guitar like this just for the sake of making a video. So I want to thank you all so, 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 so much. See you next time, and keep on rocking.